Hey, good morning. It's 10 a.m. exactly. It is July 26th, Friday morning, and I just got back from the store. So today kind of started off kind of weird. I woke up this morning and realized I had to get a couple of items at the store. And I don't drive anymore, so I have to get up early to get to the store before the sun gets really hot outside. So, I got my little cart and I just started strolling. I stumbled upon a $100 bill today, right? And see, I remember when I was younger, we would have things like lost and found type things. Like if you found something, you would turn it in, and they would give it to the rightful owner, right? Well, the rules back then, and I don't know if it's changed or not, but if it was in a wallet and you could identify the person, then you would turn it in, right? That made sense. And to this very day, if I found wallets, found wallet about 10 years ago, and I also found a wallet, I would say about 3 years ago. So I found wallets, and I also found wallets when I was a kid. So you would turn it into the lost and found. This was like a little school department, that they had. So anyway, today I found a $100 bill. Now in school, if it was actual cash, people would turn it in, and then a bunch of kids would come in and say, "Oh, it's mine, it's mine, it's my money, it's my money." But in reality, it wasn't. You know what I mean? So it got really difficult for people to just be able to decide whose money it is because kids would come up and lie. So at that time, it was just like, okay, if you find money, just go ahead and keep it. You can't identify a person. People are going to make up lie. You can't figure out whatever. So today, anyway, I figured I'd find $100, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I decided to make that a part of my journey. I was paying with, I'm on EBT. Like I think just about everybody and their mother's on EBT right now, which I think is crazy. But anyway, I was paying for my stuff, and so the balance came over the balance of the food stamps. So I decided to pay with um, it was $100, and it didn't even occur to me this bill was like counterfeit, and it blew me away. I was like, whoa, it's a counterfeit bill, like and I know that sounds crazy, but I don't think about stuff like that. So anyway, they captured the bill, and I ended up paying by another method, and I came home. So I kept thinking, okay, that's very strange, counterfeit money. It tells me that a lot of people right now are pretty desperate, and people are creating, fake counterfeit notes. Now, I will tell you, I didn't take a whole close look at this $100 bill, but to me, it looked right. The only thing that seemed a little off about it is that it had tape in the middle of it. But I kept thinking, okay, a lot of people tape their dollar bills and they go ahead and pay with it anyway. And I know I've done that in the past too. So anyway, one of those weird things, weird start this morning. So I came home and I decided to upload my video. I made a video. It took me a few days to make it. Okay, it's basically readings about my past life because I've been delving into the life of C.B. Braganza a lot. And then I also came to the understanding that my father, James Calvin Gordon, was also a clone. Okay, it's getting ready to be released this morning because I feel like I think I've covered enough information in it. And then if I decide to do more readings on this subject, then I will post more. But I find it fascinating, but at the same time, I am burned out on the subject matter because I think so much about this issue because it all started off with workplace mobbing, blah 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 blah, and then the issues with employment, and then it just all came down, and I remember in my video yesterday, towards me when I was getting ready to wrap it up, I was talking about, I'm the kind of person I will drill down a subject matter. Like if something happens to me and I'm not getting answers, I'm going to my brain is going to try very hard to figure it out, like this knot in my brain, because this issue has been the darkness that was hanging over my life in this life as well as my last life. Okay, and I'm going to tell you, I have my suspicions about the life before that too. Okay, so and I do believe that Prince Alamehu himself was also a clone. So I believe that I was cloned directly from when I was King Tut's wife. And that the name of that video is called Soul Travelers. it's exporting right now, and then I will upload it to both my YouTube channels. Okay. So that's pretty much what all I've been up to. I don't have a whole lot to think about in my mind. I think I've mentioned that I took my videos down from both platforms, Patreon as well as Ko-fi. But that was a lot of work that I put into those videos, and I feel as though they should be posted and uploaded anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and upload those um, onto my YouTube channel, mainly because I feel as though it deserves to be watched. I did get some messages. I right now, I do have to figure out some way of making money, and I do know I talked to my son about finding a job. My son seems to think that I could find a job here. I don't know, and I hope so, because I'm tired of dealing. I just don't want to deal with a toxic work environment. I've dealt with that all my life, and I know the kind of person that it makes a person become. And I don't want to have to deal with any irate people. I don't want to have to deal with stupid comments, digs, just people who, I just want to go to work and do my job. You know what I mean? And that's it. You know what I mean? And I know I can do a lot of different things, and it's kind of confusing me because I don't know which direction to go. But I am going to reach out to industries that have interest me first, and see how that goes. And I'll keep you posted on all that. What else did I want to talk about? And that's basically it. Like I said, I get very agitated and bored because I need activity. I do think it's important that I get out of the house, but like I said, I do have this sickness when it comes to, or this feeling about entering into the workforce, because I've only known, toxic people. I've only known, people who were bullies or whatever. So it's kind of like, for me, I'm a little uncomfortable, but I don't have any other choice. I have to keep going. And I have to keep going because I don't really like the idea of, to me, suicide is really throwing in the towel. Okay. I do think the length of time that we spend here has something to do with our character and how we build it. Even though it is hell, it's just like I'm trying to put up with it as much as I possibly can until I'm finally done here on Earth. Okay, and that's a time that I'm going to let the universal forces decide. Okay, I'm not going to take my own life, and I don't think that's a good idea. But I do understand sometimes people get overwhelmed with the pain. I found out in one of my intuitive readings that in my past life as C.B. Braganza in 1956, I ended my own life. It must have been in a institution. Okay, I don't know if I hung myself or whatever, but I was in an institution, a mental institution, when I passed away. There's more information about that in the video called Soul Travelers. Now, I was not insane, but my family admitted me into a mental institution because I wasn't going along with the program. Okay, so anyway, what else do I have to say? I was very strong-willed back then. I'm looking at this picture. This C.B. Braganza picture was taken in 1930. Okay, so we know that Prince Alamehu was born in 1861. Prince Alamehu died in 1956. This would make him 69 years old. Now, one of the unique things about Prince Alamehu and Maria Gordon, and apparently from the depictions, okay, there's no way that I can really get an accurate idea as to what King Tut's wife looked like. But I believe that I was targeted because I do look younger than my actual age in this life. And when you look at this picture of C.B. Braganza, now this dude's 69 years old. Okay, he looks like he could be in his 30s in this picture. Okay, so we look younger than our age, and so this might have caused a lot of anger in a lot of people and may cause a lot of bullying, as if I can help that. I can't help if I look younger than what I am. Okay, but I notice that this is a trait that's very common among Black people. We look a lot younger than a lot of other people. Okay, and it has a lot to do with our skin. Our skin is able to handle sunlight more than other races. We are made this way. Okay, and it's not something that I'm doing on purpose. This is part of my DNA. Now, I think also about Stevie Berganza, he's decked out in some pretty cool ethnic clothes. Okay, now I know that they were bullying him because they wanted him to. The whole idea, or a big part of the idea of having clones is to like whip them into submission and make them lower, than I guess the King George V and Queen Victoria, the people who were all involved in this in the first place. Okay, um, they didn't want you to have any respect for yourself. It was like a form of bullying. Okay, in my DNA, everything in my DNA is connected to fabrics, clothes, designs, art. That means adornment of my surroundings as well as adornments to myself. To me, that's just like it's essential as water. Okay, it's a part of me, and so this is obviously something that has been part of my culture from lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. You know what I mean? It's just who I am. So much so that I was willing to be admitted into an institution. And just like when people are gay, okay, for example, some people are gay, and like parents go to great lengths to try to like beat the gay out of their kid and change that kid's behavior, but at the end of the day, that kid's still gay. Okay, and so really, when I think about somebody getting bullied over your own personal preference. Okay, I'm a black man, and back in when I was when I was Calvin Berganza, I was a black man. Okay, I was a black man who obviously seemed to gravitate towards clothes that were more ethnic. This particular outfit that he's wearing there, he's got the turban. Okay, I would say that turbans seem more like an Indian thing, but I do see a lot of black people wear turbans or head wraps. I also see, that he's wearing this nice like bell sleeve type thing, and it doesn't look like something another white person would wear. Although I will say, if you watch things like seen things like the Wizard of Oz or other depictions of what you would call fortune tellers and stuff like that, that looks like a very common outfit that they wore. Now, who's to say he could have started that trend? Because the wizard in the Wizard of Oz was wearing a turban, and he was wearing something kind of exotic like Stevie Berganza. And when you go see things like Zoltar, that character, he's dressed like that. Or who's to say maybe Stevie Berganza, that was an old way of dressing as a fortune teller, and that's just how he dressed because he was also a fortune teller. I don't know. You know what I mean? But whatever the case is, it was very much a part of his personality. Him and his clothes were one. It was something essential to his life, and that's the way it is. And this is one of the reasons why I was refusing for people to allow me to bully me out of that. That is the one thing that I'm connected to. It's who I am. And if I cannot be who I am, then there's no point in living. This is one of the reasons why people take those stances. You know what I mean? And people think that this person's rebelling. I'm not rebelling. You know what I mean? When I go to the store and I was looking at some shirts, right? Like there's a few days ago, I was at Walmart, right? And I mean, Walmart, but still, sometimes they have cute things. So you're looking through these different like clothes, and you see like a tank top, right? They got the tank top in yellow, they got the tank top in green, they got the tank top in orange, and all these assorted colors. You know why they have them in assorted colors? Because you have a choice. That's why. Because you have a choice. The very fact that they're sold in stores says that you can have a choice. You can either buy that outfit item, and it's free to buy. There is no restrictions. There's no rules that say that you can't. Okay, and on top of that, they're offering it in different colors and sizes and whatever. Okay, but it's giving you a choice. There's very few things that we have in life that make us happy. Okay, we don't have a choice. We either work or we have to. To me, I either work or I don't know what else I'm going to do. Okay, because I don't like to be somebody who's asking for things. Okay, I've always been self-sufficient. Okay, there's certain things that you have to do. That's obviously something that is not something that's pleasurable, doesn't bring you any joy, doesn't bring you any happiness. It's a part of the obligations that we are stuck having to do in this place that I call hell. Okay, but we do have these little things called, things that make us a little bit more comfortable, things that can give us comfort, things that we can indulge in to make our lives a little bit better. And I will say clothes is one of them. And Stevie Braganza felt that way too. And so it's a personal preference. Just like my father he used to call himself a country boy. My dad was a country boy. That's his preference, to be a country boy. There's a lot of people who like the big city. They like the hustle and bustle and that kind of stuff. My dad wanted to be away from that sort of stuff. He wanted his hunting dogs, his fishing gear, his guns, and his like Field and Stream magazines, and he wanted that kind of lifestyle. That's what he wanted. Whereas he didn't want to be gambling. He didn't want to be, doing the city life stuff. That's his personal preference. Those are some of the preferences that we are given in this life. So he chooses that one. Now, a lot of black men, in that age and that time period, they could have been more fast runners and running around with prostitutes or whatever they wanted to, but he was a homebody. That's his choice, right? So, C.B. Braganza was bullied over things that were frivolous and that caused pain and suffering all around. The whole cloning program is what caused a lot of pain. Anyway, I'm hoping that I will be able to find something. Hopefully, I can work in an environment where I feel, like I can just do my work and go home. I don't want to deal with too much. I don't want too much drudgery. Anyway, okay, yeah. I wanted to talk about Actually, I'm going to save all of that for the next video that I'm uploading. I did want to mention the fact that how the end result, what ends up happening to the kids who are the marked ones, people like myself who've gone through a program where they were set up for death, and I'm going to say that because, and don't tell me that that's not true. Okay, just by the way that people behave and the sick behavior behind it, all of it, okay, tells me that this is a death cult. I was being followed by a death cult. Okay, but the after effects of a kid who grows up being the scapegoat is very devastating. Okay, and to understand that this was an orchestrated plan by people who wanted nothing more than power to feel good about themselves, and the damage that they've caused, not just to me, but a lot of other people. So this has had my life back a lot, just in this life alone. Now, as a parent, I've always wanted to be able to give my son something. Okay, so I was paying on a life insurance policy. They destroyed that. Okay, I was trying to do something. See, I don't have any way of building wealth like these people have. They make sure that you can never have anything. Okay, so I tried to do something because I wanted to leave my son something. I think that in this life we try this. I know how shitty this world is. I mean, I'm going to tell you about this place is garbage. Okay, so I tried really hard to. I wanted to lighten the load. You know what I mean? I believe that each generation should try to lighten the load, try to give people as much wiggle room as they can. So if there was a way that I could leave my son money, I definitely wanted to do that. So I didn't have much money, but I figured like I would at least pay into a life insurance policy. I had to stop paying on that consistently because it kept me out of work for so long. These people wiped everything out of my life. I have no retirement. I've never had any stability in my life. Okay, because of this issue. Okay, because they made it so that people would hate me. I couldn't have, anybody help me. I was all by myself. They made sure that I was screwed all the time. Okay, so it's very difficult for someone like me to feel safe. You know what I mean? And I always struggle, and I'm angry because I'm 53 years old and I have no car because of them. I can't pay $400 something a month when I'm barely scraping by. I have to sit here and worry about what's going to happen to me. I'm always going to sit here and protect myself first. That's how I prioritize. Okay, I'm only going to be on the hamster wheel for so long, and anybody in their right mind would do the same thing. It's like, my goodness, what else are you going to do? But it damages kids and sets them back a lot. Okay, and we struggle more than anyone that you could ever imagine. Why? Because it was set up that way. Okay, and it changes your view on people. So I feel very like the need to be protected. I feel the need, like, the issue of going to a job or finding a job does make me a little uncomfortable because, like I said, this is a breeding ground where everybody reveals themselves. You know what I mean? People get stressed out and they start doing stuff. So it makes me very nervous. But I want to be able to find something that I can deal with. Now, I will tell you, when I was over at BT Trucking, I didn't mind it as much in the beginning because I felt as though that position was like, I don't want to devote my time to a job where I'm like bringing my work home and stuff like that. I don't want to do that anymore. Okay, so I'm just trying to take it easy now and try to, because it's enough on me mentally already, to try to go into a job after I've been harassed like for years and years and years and years and years and years. And then coming to understand that this was actually a death cult that was following me around. Okay, that's a lot on a person. Okay, so you can imagine my mental state, knowing that I have to go out and find a job. You know what I mean? It makes me a little uncomfortable. But yeah, this is the way it ends up for a lot of targets who are what they call chosen ones, people who can scapegoat it from their families, and people who've come along in life with this like rumor behind them, and it's a nightmare. I can't even tell you. Okay, so yeah, I go a little bit more into my issues in the cloning, my concerns and my feelings about how I feel about cloning in the video, Soul Travelers. I do think that I feel like, that there's some sort of issue when it comes to the actual counting of time, because when I think of, okay, how can I say this? They were saying that Wikipedia was saying that they excavated King Tut's tomb like 3,300 years after he passed away. But it seems a little odd to me because because from what I understand, it's like, okay, well, you know what? Here's the thing. I know that King Tut died before his wife did. Okay. But still, I mean, I don't know, something just doesn't add up with that. It doesn't add up because like right after um, I was King Tut's wife, then I was flipped around and turned to Prince Alamehu. That was only 100 something years ago. You know what I mean? It just seems a little odd to me. I got to do a little bit more digging, but it seems very strange. Anyhow, um, yeah, I did some readings, intuitive as well as using playing cards and tarot cards in this particular video. And I would say during the days, I don't really have a lot to think about. It's like my mind is completely blank. It just this whole thing just like wiped out so much of my life. So if I'm going to be able to have to look for work, hopefully I find something very quick and I can find something I can start very quick with me and easily just kind of transition into, because I am getting tired of being at home. You know what I mean? And I don't have anything to think about, and it's causing even more problems. You know what I mean? It's like this restlessness where I feel almost like, there's nothing in my, it just becomes very bleak. The feeling is just very bleak. I don't have anything to think about other than this issue or digging into the CB Berganza issue. I don't think about the outside world. I've completely shut it out. It doesn't exist. It's like in my mind, I'm existing on a completely different timeline. I no longer have an interest. I've completely detached myself from my life as Maria Borden. So the only thing that I care about is going to work and coming home. That's the same schedule I've always had. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I feel as though everything that's happened to me has caused so much like trauma that I'm just done. I'm done. Okay. So, yeah, I am interested in knowing more about the timelines. Now, I also got the message because, I wanted to know more about the forces that were behind this cloning thing. Because I know that there's different alien races. They have like Palladians, we have things like Archons. We have so many different races, alien types. Some are of higher intelligence, some are very benevolent, and some are malevolent. Okay, so I do believe that the same demonic forces that they teamed up with to create this cloning program is the same sort of demonic forces that was used for the Nazis, that the Nazis used in their UFO technology. Um, you'd have to do some reading on it, but I do believe they're like, it's kind of like one and the same. I also know that Joseph Mengele was a part of my experiment. This is another reason why it's so highly demonic when I tell you about the kind of behavior that was like fueled this entire program. And I know that the cloning program is kind of top secret when they started. Now people talk more openly about being clones. Okay, I don't know much about Kid Boo, but I know I've heard of him, and he's somebody who kind of talks openly about his being a clone. Um, and apparently, like the Matthews guy, can't think of his name. He talks openly about being clone. So people are becoming aware of this issue. So it's not like it's like that big. But I think what's important to know is that a lot of people carried a burden that they should not have carried. You know, the burden, like for example, in my case, being cloned and then having people having to take care of me, and then people turning on me, and then people, you know, basically bullying, trying to bully someone to death. It's very sick. And I used to wonder, where in the world does this come from? I wanted to get to the root of it. And I believe that I have got to the root of it, where it came from, why so many of these people suffer, what's this targeted individual thing, why are all these people, um, who are all these people? You know what I mean? And these people, such as myself, pretty much have lived lives in, I guess, in a certain state and manner for each life that they live. Like, I was the queen or the empress in Egypt, okay? So that's kind of a big position. Then I flipped around and became a prince of Ethiopia. Then I came here as CB Berganza, okay? And apparently he was pretty much well known. You know what I mean? Even though people had a negative view of him because of the Christianity thing, okay? If it wasn't to me, I'm sorry, but like I said, the more I start thinking about this issue, I'm very angry and disgusted by Christianity. Okay, and I'm not saying that people can't have their individual devotion to God or anything, but I will say that Christianity has caused a lot of problems. Okay, and I'm not talking about God, or I'm not talking about the God, the supreme being. I'm talking about the demonic forces that created these programs. Okay, because this is everything about it shows me that it was crooked. Everything about it shows me that it was wrong. And it has caused me so much in my life. You know what I mean? And right now, I'm just trying to pick up the pieces. So let's hope that I find something quick. Let's hope that I can make a transition easy. Meaning like find a job. I'm hoping that I find something that I can deal with. I don't want to deal with drama. I don't want to deal with bullying. I don't want people bothering me about this, that, me eating apples. I don't want to hear any of that. I'm tired of that. I don't deserve that. You know what I mean? I don't deserve to be a punching bag for any family. And I don't think anyone else does. People deserve to have, a certain level of respect. I may not be what you call a royal person in this life, meaning it might be in my blood. But see, some people take positions of royalty, okay? Like, obviously I am not somebody who takes a position of royalty. I don't sit on a throne, and I don't have exquisite furniture, and I certainly don't live in a palace. I live in an apartment, okay? A regular apartment, okay? And that's fine with that. I mean, it is what it is. But I should not have to sit here and be like bullied to the point of where I'm always having nothing. Every time I try to build myself up again, somebody just comes and plows it down just because they feel like it. You know what I mean? This is what, being in this targeting program does. And it's like a form of bullying a person until you whip into submission, until you become something that you don't want to be. It's horrible. It's been a nightmare. Okay, so this is my last track, my last journey. Okay, and I made the Swan Song the Manifesto because that was something that was important to me. But that was obviously something that they wanted to bully and dominate as well too. So that's life. So anyway, let's hope I find something, and hopefully I find it quickly, because I am really tired of the everyday sitting around with nothing to think about. Okay, because it does wipe everything out of your life, absolutely everything. It is a program that was built on something wicked, and that's how I truly feel. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this video. It is Friday. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye bye.